3, 2, 1. Hello everybody, my name is Olivia, I am 10 years old and welcome to my internet talk show where I invite people from all over Ireland because I live in Ireland and interview them. Yeah! Cut out. Okay. I'm glad you visited us. So before we start, could you tell us how it was yesterday? Because I heard you were up in Enniscorthy for the Strawberry Fest.
No, well, actually, the Strawberry Fest. I'm playing the Strawberry Fest tomorrow night. I was playing in the Lock and Key last night. It was a great session. Had everyone up dancing and singing, so it was great fun altogether.
So did you enjoy it?
Yeah, it was great fun. It's kind of it's a nice little place to play there. You're kind of tucked away in the corner, but people kind of gathered around and had a bit of a dance and a sing, so it was great fun.
So now we will start with the first question. When and why did you start playing music?
I suppose I started when I was about 12 or 13. I first picked up a guitar, and I kind of have memories of St. Patrick's Day. I was in the pub. Where else would you be on a St. Patrick's Day? And there was these guys kind of playing in the corner. I remember going, God, that's amazing. I'd love to be able to do that. So my brother played a bit of guitar, so I followed him, and he kind of helped me get a guitar and that, and I started from there. So then I started playing little gigs in the parish hall with my metal band. I thought I was in Metallica and everything. So I suppose that's when I started to really give the music a go.
So what was the first tune you learned?
First tune I learned, I suppose it would have been Satisfaction by the Rolling Stones. It's very easy, it just goes bum bum ba-da-da, da-da-da-da. And it was my Uncle Frank, who's passed away since. He taught me. It was just on one string on the top of the guitar, but of course I thought I was a rock and roll god going around being able to play this song. And then I suppose the first song that I learned to play and sing was Nothing Else Matters by Metallica, which is pretty easy as well. So I suppose they were good points to start anyway.
When did you start to take your work more seriously?
I suppose maybe around the time I started playing in the parish hall in the band. I kind of realised that I was really enjoying playing to a crowd, although most nights there wasn't much of a crowd watching us, but I kind of realised that I really liked being on stage and I really liked performing. So I suppose from there I kind of started to take the singing a bit more seriously, and then obviously being on The Voice, that kind of I hadn't done anything for a while, so that kind of gave me the confidence to go on and get back to the music, and I'm enjoying it a lot now again.
Does your family play any instruments, or were they musicians?
Well, my brother, as I said, my brother plays guitar, and he played, I think, bass in a band years ago as well. Now, he wouldn't play a whole lot in front of you. He's very shy in that. He wouldn't play in front of people, but I suppose he got me going on the guitar and all that kind of thing. And then both my sisters and my mother, they're all good singers, although again they wouldn't really do it in public in front of people or anything. My father, he tries hard, but he's not the best singer in the world, unfortunately. But he always says, if you could hear my voice like I hear my voice, you'd think I was a great singer. That's what my dad says.
Who are your favourite musicians?
I suppose Rory Gallagher is a musician I'm listening to a lot at the moment. I think he's probably the best guitarist in the world ever, and he's from Ireland. Well, he was from Ireland. He's passed away. And then apart from that, I suppose I listen to a lot of Glenn Hansard, who's a fellow redhead, and a lot of his music is brilliant. He's one of the best singers out there at the minute in Ireland, I think. And apart from that, I like to listen to a lot of Wexford music as well. So I listen to Corner Boy, Johnny Stewart, The Man Whom and Paul Crane and the Changing Band, the likes of them. There's lots of great music in Wexford at the minute, so I like to listen to as much of that as possible.
And when you practice, what is your focus on, like new tunes or hard tunes or your chords?
My practice is kind of, I suppose it's an organic process, you could say. I tend to dot guitars all over the house, so it could be in the kitchen, it could be in the sitting room, and I'll just pick one up and start playing. And to be honest, I don't really think about focusing on anything. Sometimes I'll be driving along and I'll hear a song on the radio and I'll go, that could work at a gig, so I'll kind of make sure I go and learn it the next time I happen to pick a guitar up. But generally, most of my, I suppose, practice, you could say, just happens from me wandering around the house and picking up guitars.
I have to ask you this question. I know you were on The Voice of Ireland, so how did it feel performing for thousands of people at the time?
To be honest, it was kind of strange. I didn't really think about it that way at all. The day when we went up for my blind audition, I suppose I didn't really think of the TV aspect at all, and I was kind of just having fun and enjoying it. I didn't really think of getting any further in the competition or anything like that. I just said, I just wanted to go out and have fun, and myself and the family were having a bit of crack backstage and all that kind of thing. So then I went out, and I suppose the longer it went on without one of the chairs turning around, I was thinking, oh God, is someone going to turn around? Is someone going to turn around? So they kind of left it to the last minute before anyone turned around. So I suppose there was a lot of pressure there. I was kind of going, I don't want to go home empty-handed, because it's a long drive home when you haven't done well. But thankfully they did turn around. And then for the battles and the live shows, I suppose I was kind of more conscious of the TV aspect and all the people watching at that stage, because you're in a bigger studio, so there's way more people in the audience and all that kind of thing. And then there's a lot more camera work to do for those kind of things as well. So I suppose I kind of started to think about the TV side of it then, but once I went into the performance itself, I kind of go into a separate place and I just block everything else out, and all I'm concentrating on is performing and singing,
And what inspires you?
What inspires me? Well, I suppose my family and my girlfriend would be a big inspiration in my life. They kind of are the ones who drive me on. I'm a bit lazy, to be honest. I put things on the long finger and I go, I'll go get more gigs next week, But they're constantly saying to me, get yourself out there. And it was actually my girlfriend Jane who entered me into the Voice. So I suppose if it wasn't for her, I probably wouldn't be doing the music as much at the moment as I am. But yeah, my family are always kind of driving me on to do more and get recording. At the moment, that's what my mammy in particular is nagging me about. You need to record your songs. So yeah, my family, I suppose, will be a big driving force behind all my music and that.
What's the magic formula for success?
Oh, if I knew that, I'd be rich. I don't know. I suppose the main thing in terms of music, anyway, is practice. No matter how good you are, you can always be better. I think that's the main thing. And I suppose you have to enjoy what you're doing as well. Otherwise the whole thing would be a waste of time. So basically, practice is key for any musician.
What was the most important day of your life?
The most important day of my life. God, that's a tough question. I suppose the day of the blind audition on The Voice was a pretty big day. I'd never really put myself out that much with music before, and I suppose it was great to get the seal of approval. Getting three out of the four of the coaches to turn around was a big deal for me. And as well, I suppose there was the day I graduated from college. I suppose that was a big day. It was time to grow up and stop messing around. And then maybe I suppose the day I started working as a journalist, which is what I do for a day job. So that kind of, I suppose that's kind of was a big day for me as well. It was kind of getting to use everything I'd learned in college, and it's something I enjoy as well. So I suppose those were all big days.
What is the first song you ever remember hearing?
God, happy birthday. No, I suppose I actually like a bit of country music, but my father, I remember when I was really young, we used to go for drives. He had this really small little car called a Mini Metro, and we used to go for family drives off around the place. And I remember he used to have these country tapes of, like, you know, pictures of cowboys on the front of them and all that kind of thing. But it was some awful music. You know, it was strange stuff. But I suppose those kind of tunes have always stuck with me. If I ever hear them on the radio now, I seem to know all the words, strangely enough. So I suppose my dad's country music would be the first kind of music I listen to, you know.
What would you be doing if you weren't a musician?
Well, as I say, I have a day job as well. I work for the local papers as a journalist. So I suppose I'd be still tipping away at that. It's a great job as well, I suppose, because it gives me a chance to be a little bit creative. You know, writing music is something I love, but also I suppose when I'm writing every day, they kind of go hand in hand, and it kind of helps me with my songwriting and that as well, the fact that I'm so used to writing. Then as well with the journalism, I suppose every day is different. You know, you could be covering any kind of story. I like to meet footballers and write football stories myself, but yeah, those are the best days. But yeah, every day is different, so it's a great job as well to have there. But obviously the music is my main love, and one day I'd like to go on and maybe do the music full time.
Who would you want to do a duet with?
If I could do a duet with anyone, I suppose it would be maybe Glenn Hansard. I think the two of us are a similar style, and yeah, he's a great singer. Maybe we could get some cool harmonies going on. Plus then you'd have two ginger guys on the one stage. That'd be great as well.
Do you get nervous before a performance?
Thankfully, I don't really suffer too much with nerves. The way I look at it is, if I didn't get nervous when I was going on the stage for The Voice, I won't really get nervous. I remember going in for my battle, the guy that I was up against, he was kind of a bit nervous beforehand. He was kind of backstage doing press-ups and all, and, you know, warming up his voice and all that, whereas I just kind of sat down with the crew and was having a chat, and then I was told, right, it's time to go, so got up and went down and belted it out. Thankfully I suppose I don't really think too much about it, which I think helps. But then again, I suppose when I'm playing kind of to smaller crowds and with less people, I kind of maybe get more nervous than I would playing to a big crowd with loads of people. I don't really know why that is. But no, thankfully I don't really suffer too much with nerves.
If you haven't been born in this century, when and where would you have liked to live?
That's another interesting question. I suppose maybe in musical terms, I think maybe the 60s and the 70s were like the greatest eras for music. I quite maybe fancy being able to hang around with Eric Clapton and those guys in the 60s and 70s maybe, and so yeah, I suppose maybe the 60s and 70s and maybe like Los Angeles. Although then again, with my complexion, I don't know whether I'd probably get sunburnt all the time out there. What do you think?
What's the side of you that the public never sees?
The side of me that the public never sees. I'm a bit of a nerd. I read a lot of football books. My girlfriend Jane gives out to me because I have so many books and they take up so much room in the house. And as well as that, I collect guitars as well. My collection of guitars is rapidly expanding. If I see a bargain on the internet, I can't say no. So between the guitars and the books and all my old football stuff, they take up a lot of room in the house. So I suppose maybe that's part that people don't get to see.
Which do you enjoy most? A night out on the town or staying in with someone special?
I suppose maybe I've kind of gone beyond the point where I'm mad for going out on the town and that. Kind of what I prefer these days is to have a couple of drinks at home and listen to some music and maybe watch a film. So I suppose maybe a night in with someone special, but that kind of makes me sound a bit boring, doesn't it?
If you were the president, what's the first thing you'd do?
Well, given the fine weather we're having, I think I'd make it illegal to have to work or go to school when it gets over the 20 degrees. I think maybe we should all go to the beach. Would you be up for that?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll go to the beach instead of going to school. That'll be much better, wouldn't it?
I wish I could do that every single day. Say something to the whole world.
Something to the whole world. God, I don't know what I'd say to the whole world. Buy my CD when it comes out. I know, I suppose if there was a message to the whole world, I suppose it would be, in terms of getting stuff across, I suppose it would be to be less greedy and we'll all get along a lot better.
So, what will you sing for us today?
Well, my voice isn't great after the gig last night. I kind of overdid it a bit maybe, and it's still kind of early, so my voice takes a while to get going. But the song that I might do is one that maybe you'd be too young to remember, a programme called Cheers. But I'm going to do the theme tune from Cheers.
Okay, thank you for coming here. I really appreciate it and you giving up your time. I really enjoyed it.
No problem at all. It was great to be interviewed by such a real pro. Making your way in the world today takes everything you got. Taking a break from all your worries sure would help a lot. Wouldn't you like to get away? Sometimes you wanna go where everybody knows your name, and they're all so glad you came. You wanna be where you can see troubles are all the same. You wanna go where everybody knows your name. Roll out of bed, Mr. Coffee's dead. The morning's looking bright. Your shrink ran off to Europe and he didn't even write. Girlfriend says she's not a girl. Be glad there's one place in this world everybody knows your name, and they're all so glad you came. You wanna be where you can see troubles are all the same. You wanna go where everybody knows your name. Another night without the lights. The check is in the mail, and your little baby angel hung the cat up by its tail. Your third fiancé didn't show. Be glad there's one place you can go where everybody knows your name, and they're all so glad you came. You wanna be where you can see troubles are all the same. You wanna go where everybody knows your name. Well, making your way in the world today takes everything you got. Wouldn't you like to get away? Sometimes you wanna go where everybody knows your name, and they're all so glad you came. You wanna be where you can see troubles are all the same. You wanna go where everybody Nobody knows your name.